Boys, are you excited? I am excited. It puts a smile on my face every single time we watch a video from our favorite Diablo Immortal Vale, who gets constantly mistreated like trash from Blizzard, yet keeps spending money in this game. And then he's surprised that Blizzard does not treat him better and doesn't care about him. It's glorious. It's like a never ending stream of happiness. So, let's figure out what ails our Vale friend this time, because it's probably going to be something absolutely, like always, blatantly out of touch and hilarious.
Diablo Immortal is set up in a way that when you spend money, it doesn't really lose its value. And because of that, it's very...
Wow. 7 seconds in, and I already heard an extremely stupid thing. So, a lot of people do think that Diablo Immortal is a little bit different when it comes to paying to winning than other games, because usually pay to win games allow you to pay money, and then they, after a couple of months, switch something up, so all the money that you have paid has become worthless, so whales have the opportunity to repay and reacquire everything that they have lost. Because that's fun for some people. I never understand those people, but hey, it's funny for some. And he's saying that Diablo is different. The reality is, Diablo can switch up the way that it's built any moment it desires. There are so many ways to make absolutely every cent that you have put into Diablo Immortal completely irrelevant right on the next day if Blizzard deems it so. So, yeah, currently, the money that you put into the game has value. But Blizzard can make that go away any moment. And I don't think this guy understands that.
very difficult for them to continually add new content coming into the game that is going to be monetized or goalpost moving. Once you've spent your money, you will always have the value that money has been spent because they do not devalue things like resonance going into the future. It is a
Yes, no, he is completely, absolutely wrong. They can move the goalpost at any moment. Currently, everything's kind of about legendary gems like that. Blizzard can introduce a new mechanic that is 2 times or 3 times stronger than legendary gems, but that mechanic only works because you have legendary gems, which means that you will have to spend money to get the best things in the new mechanic, while that new mechanic is going to be 3 or 4 times stronger than the previous mechanic, which technically doesn't completely devalue the money that you have sunk into the game, but it still makes it a lot more relevant, you know? So, yeah, he's wrong. It's so simply disprovable.
percentage-based thing based upon attributes, and combat rating is really what dictates access to new content. I'm going to break down this and explain not only why me personally am
I like how he's speaking like that is a game.
done spending money in this game, but why I really don't need to spend any money, as well as comparing it to some other mobile games in the industry. I want to talk about why I'm done spending money in Diablo Immortal. First and foremost, people know that what I wanted was my tier 2 wings. I don't have tons and tons of money, and I am in fact going to TwitchCon in October, and I'm going to be purchasing my tickets and hotels and stuff this weekend, and that's going to take a good chunk of money, and I'm also building out my sprinter.
I don't understand these people who have very small channels and they go to TwitchCon. Did they go to TwitchCon because they think someone really, really wants them there? Or they do go to TwitchCon because they want to acquire acquaintances and people that could help them out? The latter one is smart. The first one is kind of honestly stupid. It's nice, but it is stupid.
Van, which is going to take a good amount of money and stuff too. So the reality is your boy's not going to be putting money into this game anymore for a while, except for the cosmetics.
Probably his first good life choice.
But that made me think, do I actually need to put money into this game at all once you've purchased what you have?
Because no, you didn't need to put money in the game in the first place. They sucked you in. You're a sucker. You failed. You didn't need to. You needed to open it, play it for 1 hour, say, yeah, this is garbage, and delete. That was what's supposed to happen. You failed.
Think about this for a moment. The other games, I'm going to use an example of my previous game, Raid Shadow Legends, right? I spent $16,000 in the game over a 4-year period.
Dude, how the fuck does this guy have money? What is his source of income? 16K a year on Raid Shadow Legends. Damn. Well, at least Raid's an actual functioning game. Admittedly, it is also very pay to win, like, let's be real. You can't, but good part is, in Raid, you can actually, like, do a lot of things, and you can have a lot of hours of actual fun without paying to win. But at some point, you're gonna come to the barrier where, yeah, it's really hard to actually play the game without paying money. So,
period. And a large part of that money was viewers giving me money because they wanted to watch me open stuff and have a good time, right? So they'll hand you $100,
Ah,
say, go
that's
buy
true.
a pack, open it up on a stream, you know, everyone's drinking a beer or whatever. That's pretty much the vibe a lot of the times with those types of games.
That's
Now,
true.
that 16 grand I spent in that game is so deflated in value that's probably worth about $500 now. Because if I log on that game now, there has been so much goalpost moving and power creep in the game that the heroes that were so important before for me to purchase.
Well, yeah, but on the other hand, I will say this. I actually played Raid Shadow Legends for roughly a year, and I never spent a penny. Well, admittedly, I got like 2K worth of free stuff because I did do 6 months of advertisements, I think, for them, you know? So I did get like 1 or 2K worth of free stuff, probably less. But anyway, yeah, the game does move, and Raid gets updated like every fucking week almost. Every week there's a new champion, there's a new legendary, and things like that. When I left Raid, the only actual barrier to entry, well, not even a barrier to entry. For example, you could get legendary champions so easy in Raid at that point. Like they were pretty much given to you like bam, 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 wham, constantly. The real problem was actually getting legendary books.
Purchased have lost their value to the point that they're almost worthless. Okay, where this is what I'm noticing is different about Diablo Immortal. Diablo Immortal almost front loads your cost. So instead of being like, hey, spend $20 now, and every time a new update comes out, spend another $20, what they say is, hey, here's the way the system works. Do you want more power? Here's resonance. You get flat amount combat rating, you get the bonus stats, and more importantly, you get resonance, which is a percentage of the gear, which is non-wellable. So you can't well for legendary gear. Granted, there's magic find, etc. We could talk about that. There hasn't really been a lot of evidence for me to prove the magic find's even that great yet at the moment, if we're being quite honest with ourselves. But there is, in fact, legendary gear and set items which you cannot well for. There is no.
That is true, but at the end of the day, everyone can acquire those items relatively easy. Like, as much as I understand you need to farm for them, but it's not the end of the world. It's not really that much of a problem. They are acquirable. It's gonna take a little bit of time, sure, but at the end of the day, you're gonna get them. It's gonna take you a reasonably, not too short, but not too long amount of time. But getting the legendary gems, yeah, good luck with that.
Packs. I cannot go to the store, go to the shop, and just purchase set items over and over and over again and just roll them over and over and over again. You can do this in basically
Yet. Soon, though, probably. Let's be real, soon.
any other mobile game. Now, what I've realized is because of this, what this means is, and due to the way the combat rating system works, where effectively, if something's high enough combat rating for you in PvE, you're doing one.
Do you actually think he even knows what armor pen, potency, and resistance actually do? I don't think so.
Damage to it, and it one-shots you, and you're basically completely 100% gated out of PvE content. What this effectively means is once you've done your purchasing, there's no more content they can produce that will power creep. Unless it's a new legendary item, which is like there's a better helmet. To give you an example, like the Ray of Frost helmet off the mage, everyone's complaining about right now because it's very, very, very strong, right? But that wasn't monetized. Getting that helmet is something that just has to happen. You just have to play the game. They didn't make any money off the fact that Wizard now has a good helmet. So what they're actually doing is they're just selling you up front a percentage of basically bonus stats. It's just, you want to be stronger than somebody, here you go. You can be stronger than somebody by just flat out buying your resonance. And the only way that this would get power creeped is if they came out with like a better version of Bottled Hope.
You know what's honestly completely wild to me? The way that he just completely normally talks about this shit, you know? There's absolutely no pause, no contemplation, no nothing. He's just saying, yeah, so you buy this power here and that's fine and that's all good, because, you know, other things cannot be bought. I'm pretty sure this guy, by the way, would advocate for everything being acquirable to just spending money so you don't actually even need to play the game any longer, you know?
Oh, to replace this gem. They can't invalidate the resonance because the resonance is based upon something that's non-pay to win, which is your normal gear. I get 150% base attributes of stuff that I literally have to go farm myself. Meaning if I want better and better and better stats, I can't just keep rolling in the shop. I got to go play the actual game. Which also means when new content comes out, like we have this new major update coming out, right? The new major update, let's say they have a new zone, new hell difficulty, and new boss. They can't dictate that by resonance. They can't have a 3,000 resonance requirement, and they can't scale the boss to require you to have so much life that you don't.
Wait, actually, yes, they can. Yes, they can. They can scale the boss up so much. Okay, so here's the deal. Blizzard most likely has this data on every character, on every average, on everything. They have the average amount of life. For example, Barbarian has the average amount of resonance a character has, an account has, and so on. They have like, and subscribe for squeaky chair noise. They have all that statistics. So what essentially they can do is they can add a new boss that's going to be specially tuned for the average player to have slightly more stats, more everything than that player can deal with. You know, it's going to be just that sliver of HP left on the boss. And at the same time, while that boss is coming out, they can add something new in the shop that you can buy, and it's going to give you that 20% boost that you were just so sadly exactly missing. It is so easy just to milk these people.
Get one shot because you can just.
Yeah, because, no, seriously, it's so easy to milk these people. Because he doesn't even understand that Blizzard can do something like that. He doesn't understand that the game can be fundamentally changed almost at any point to devalue every piece of green that he has put into the game. It's so insane to me.
Continually increase your combat rating until you can do the boss due to the way that they've made the combat rating work. So it's almost a double-edged sword where it's like, hey, let's have this system of combat rating in the game where what it would do is make people well because they'll have trouble getting from difficulty to difficulty, etc. But it's also a double-edged sword for them because it means when the new content comes out, it's better for us, the people who have spent just the amount of money we're willing to spend, because they can't make new content coming to the game require that resonance. They have to have it based off the combat rating. And let's say they even did have it to require basically resonance. They scaled it too. And they're never going to have an intro requirement like only 1,000 resonance people can go into it. There'd be.
Of course not. This is so madly stupid. Obviously, there's not gonna be a restriction like, oh, you need to spend X amount of dollars to do this. No, you're gonna go in. The content's gonna literally whoop your shitty little ass, and then you're gonna want to buy power because that's the easy way to actually do the stuff that you want. People get this mistaken all the time. People do not buy power in games. People do not buy skips. People do not buy boosts. People do not buy any of that because they want to save time. No, they buy that stuff so they can do the things that they want to do. So if a person wants to do the new boss, but they can't do the new boss because they are too weak, that is an incentive for him to buy the power, to buy the resonance, to buy the whatever from Blizzard, so he can be strong enough to do the new boss. It's so simple.
Way too big of a backlash, and that's very counter to what they've said they're going to be doing. So let's say they actually have something where it's like, okay, you have to have, a large amount of HP. Like it's a 5,000 combat rating, but for whatever reason, the guy hits like he's 7,000 combat rating. Like he just hits really hard. Okay, don't get hit. Well, as long as you can continually do damage to him, you're still going to be able to beat it. They can't have a way in the game unless they actually add a time-gated scenario with it having one-shot you above your normal HP and making your damage have to be so much that you basically have to have resonance. They can't really, you see what I'm saying? Like every
No,
update they have that's going to be coming to the game, they can't move the goalpost on us.
but they can, and that's what games already do.
Because they've already set the game up with the legendary.
Does this guy seriously think that there's gonna be absolutely no power creep in Diablo Immortal? Do you think it's gonna? Does he really think it's just gonna be like horizontal progression until the end of days? That is just delusional.
Gym system to the point that you can basically say they grabbed the cash in the beginning. They said, look, here's the way it works. Pay your fee up front. It's almost like a lifetime membership fee. Like I paid $3,350 and now I get 150% base attributes because I have 3,000 resonance and I get my...
No, you know what? I actually think this guy is just fucking mega coping. Honestly, I think he is just absolutely coping to oblivion.
My wings and I get the cosmetics and all that associated with it. But those stats are always going to stay there. I will always have that bonus stat. They cannot invalidate the fact that I will have bonus stats. And they also can't change the way the stats work on the gear without completely changing free-to-play potential entirely. If they nerfed the base attributes in order to make resonance worse so you had to buy more of it, it would completely make the game unplayable at all levels. You see, so they can't do it. They're locked into a way where they almost...
Yeah, needless to say, that's also not exactly true.
Can't move the goalpost on you in order to monetize further, which when I realized this actually made me feel a lot better because I've played tons of games where my time, effort, money, thought process, all of that gets thrown out the window the second a new update comes and just power creeps everything right out of the dust. Now, you could argue that power creeps the new difficulties. Like if you go...
Okay, so he has actually contemplated this idea that the time that he invested, that money that he has invested in the game, could be devalued. Could be thrown out the window into oblivion, right? Did he not know that Blizzard is, like, extremely well known to exactly do that? Like, look at World of Warcraft. Every single time just a new big patch gets released, your old raid gear is completely useless. It's just dust in the wind. Greens can replace it. It's like Blizzard are the kings of devaluing everything you have achieved every couple of months in every game. Oh my god, this guy is gonna be in for a pretty rough awakening at some point.
From Hell 4 to Hell 5, well, the Hell 5 base gear is better than, you know, your Hell 4 good gear, right? Well, yeah, maybe so, but none of that requires anything about pay to win. That is the way difficulty in the combat rating system works, and if there's a pretty good combat rating jump between the difficulties, they cannot make it where the combat rating jump is large enough that it's impossible for a free-to-play person to get there. They can't do it. If they did it, it would have to be, they would have to decide how much money it would cost because we know there's flat amounts of combat rating for each gym. Like if we look at the gym, right? And this is the reason I don't think they can do this. If you look at it, I get, for my very best gym, rank 7, 5-star, right? 168 combat rating. For this rank 4, 4-star one, 88 combat rating. Let's say that they made like a Hell 6 difficulty, and if you completely maxed out Hell 5, you were still 245 combat rating short of being able to even do damage to Hell 6. For instance, if they did that, that's the way they power creeped it, then everyone could do the math and see exactly how much money they're expecting everyone to spend just to be able to get to the next amount. It would basically be an entry fee ticket that we can mathematically figure out no problem. They can't really do this. They put themselves in the corner of having to produce content into the game without it being goalpost moving, over monetized gameplay, which in a weird way is almost the...
No, yeah, again, as I literally said at the start, I didn't think I was going to be so spot on with this. But yeah, they can just introduce a new mechanic that you need to have, need to pay for, that sucks your money dry. That is some kind of X power multiplier. And again, like the new content is not exact. The Wales play this game for PvP. To pound people into oblivion. It's every Whale's favorite pastime. It's every Whale's favorite activity. They don't even need to bar, honestly, a normal content because no one gives a shit about normal content. Whales only care about PvP.
The most honest version of pay to win, where it's like, hey, here's the way it works. If you want X percentage of power stronger, buy it. That's your lifetime fee. And now I have 3,000 resonance forever on all new content. That's just the way it works. You want to be strong?
Per character, my dude. Per character. Yeah, you need to spend that money on every character.
Here you go. It's blatantly pay to win. Blatantly, you're this much percentage stronger than other people.
Wait, was the game not already blatantly pay to win? How do you get to this point in life? The game's already blatantly extremely pay to win. And now he sees a potential problem with it? How does this work?
There it is. And then all other content, they just make the game like they're making a game, and then they just have this, do you want to be a VIP? Do you want to be entry ticket? Like, do you want to sit in the box seats? Do you want to sit in the front? Like, you get what I'm saying? That's almost the way they designed this game's monetization, which is very different than other games' monetization, because the other mobile games I've seen are required to have the constant goalpost moving and constant monetization every patch in order to constantly produce that monetization. Whereas this...
No, actually, also other games don't require this. The reason, by the way, why I quit Raid Shadow Legends was simple. They nerfed the drops of items, and they nerfed the quality of items. It's like you do you do a dungeon 40 times, and from those 40 times, you get like 3 pieces of the set that you want, of the set that everyone wants, aka the speed set. And that set's complete garbage. The base stats are complete dipshittery. The quality is low. It was just the worst. They wanted to push people to buy the shop options, because the shop options was epic and all of that great stuff. Yeah, that's how they did it. And this can happen in Diablo Immortal also.
This one, I think their driving factor is making sure they get new players into the game, getting that fee out of them, maybe $100, $200, $500, and every now and then they land a $15,000 well that spends their money and gets the wing. It's also maybe a smarter way to make money for them as a business if we think from it, because a lot of times mobile games have the capability of getting you to be really ramped up in the beginning and get almost like addicted to spinning, where you're like going in, and then you almost...
That's literally how veiling works, by the way. That is literally how it works. Veils are addicted because they have nothing to lose from veiling. And if they have something to lose from veiling, they don't care.
Regret it at the end. And if you have it as a bulk purchase in the beginning, I wonder if they're making more money than slowly trying to bleed people as it goes along, like the other games are doing, and have people quit along the way. So realizing all of this made me realize a couple things. All of the money I've spent now is going to stay its value, so I don't need to really continue to spend in order to keep the same level of power. And the cosmetics I still really like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to purchase the cosmetics. I've gotten to a strength power level that I feel fine at. I get dumpstered by tier 3 wings. I'm not going to spend $10,000 to not get dumpstered by tier 3 wings. And I'm not really interested in chasing any more combat rating in a system where combat rating is basically free to acquire and it's extremely expensive to purchase. So that's where I'm at. I think just because of the way they set it up, I'm done spending money. And it's not because I don't even like the game. I just think it's the way the game's intended. You buy what you want, and then you're done. So I could play the game for years going forward.
That is such a wild misunderstanding how the game is set up. The game is set up that that a lot of the rewards, a lot of the big rewards, are PvP focused. You know, the cool things, the unique things are PvP focused. And since there's no PvP equalization and Veils get to dominate everyone else, it is set up so the people who want those cool things will spend the most money, because that's a free ticket to pounding people. It's simple.
Forward now, just buying cosmetics, and I feel like I'm never going to lose the value of the money I've spent. Granted, the money I spent is absolutely ridiculous, and thousands of dollars on a mobile game. It's still a meme, and we all know that. But what's interesting is the way that they've positioned the monetization plan without...
Dude, this guy must be ridiculously rich. Is his parent are his parents rich or something like that? Because look at this. He looks like the guy who has never worked a single day in his life. Either he's a philanthropist billionaire, or his parents just give him a lot of money. There's no absolute way.
Really monetizing goalpost moving and power creep, which honestly is what brings the most complaints out of people I've seen in mobile games. So I'm kind of excited to see this first major update because I'm really curious whether or not I'm correct. And this first major update is going to be a way to prove me wrong. If this first major update comes with way more legendary gems, and all these new legendary gems are way stronger than the ones we've had before, then we're going to know I'm wrong. Especially if some of those gems are like some super gem that gives you even more combat rating, then we're going to know that there's something.
Okay, so again, this is stupidity. That gem does not need to give a person more combat rating. The reality of Diablo Immortal is the fact that to acquire those gems, you need to spend money. And acquiring the gem in the first place is money spending. Without spending money, you're not exactly going to acquire the gem. It's going to take you a very, very long time to acquire it without spending that money. And that gem can be easily way more powerful. That gem can add 0 combat rating, or as much combat rating as the currently best gem, but its effect can be so overpoweredly broken that everyone needs to farm it because everyone's gonna use it.
Weird going on, it's probably time to panic. But for now, I'm actually feeling like all right compared to the other.
This took me 3 months, Diablo Immortal. 237 videos on probably Diablo Immortal. That's insane, dude. That is absolutely insane. Anyway, my favorite veil. Absolutely out of touch with reality. It's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. Anyway, like and subscribe. I'm out.